wide.
We are also on Facebook as well.
Yes.
But welcome everybody to the Blue Collar Crypto show with Tim Trojan. The show is a part of the World of Ability Podcast Network, which was started a couple of years ago by Kurt Rescoff and Marcus Hart of Transforming Media. With World of Ability being one of the either one of or the anchor show of the World of Ability Podcast Network. We started this Blue Collar Crypto show a year ago after Tim asked me and Kurt if we would help him with a show. We had met Tim a year or two before that when we were working with Anna Maria Bliven and Onward and Upward and Prosperity Pathways, which are a nonprofit and a for-profit that help with the homeless population and veterans with finding employment and housing and so on. With Anna Maria being a veteran herself. So it's veteran owned, veteran run. And we have a number of other shows on this podcast network. And would love all of you to be on more of them, but we can talk about that in a little bit here. But would like to give special thanks to Marcus Hart of Transforming Media, Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel, and Zach Clayton of the Peck Channel, and allowing us to have this show on their platforms. Also encourage everybody to check out all of our social media as well. But right now I am going to hand it over to Tim. And what do we talking about today, Tim?
Well, I'm gonna offer this license plate here in Wisconsin. We call ourselves Cheeseheads, and here's a license plate you can put on your car. If you're from out of state or anywhere in the world, you can get this license plate, right? So for watching this show, you can email me and I'll send you the license plate. How nice is that? So by watching this show, you can profit, right? Isn't that what we're trying to do, right? So let's go over a couple terms, right? Because I started one business or two, not successfully, right? So there was reasons for that. As far as being a business expert, I believe I come from a lot of business owners. My uncle was an oil delivery person. He had an oil distributorship from Sunoco Oil Company. My other uncle owned a stock brokerage which sold shares of stock in corporations, and he was a broker. So and this is my journey. I'd like you to join me on it in creating your own business and learning a couple textbook things about businesses that sometimes a textbook translates into you knowing more, so that when you're out there and not in the textbook but on the pavement, in the storefront, on the internet, you can create your own business. And the textbook part of this is to help you grow it and grow it fast. So let's start with a couple terms for business. This is Blue Collar Crypto. As my host said, this has been here for about nearly nearly a year. Last winter, I believe it started. We started doing these shows. I generally do them by myself with assistance. And we are going to have a new show with Jacques coming in, I think, sometime this month. We'll have a second show based on just what I was discussing today is how to get your business new clients, marketing your business so that you have more customers, and how to do that in today's environment with the internet. And his name is Jacques Scutiki, and it will be here. I will be discussing where and how you can get to that show so your business can prosper. But today, there's a couple terms. Let's start with revenue and profit. Let's use those two terms, and business model for today. Business model, revenue, profit, business model, and let's just type that in the chat. Let's see here. Revenue, new, and then profit, and then business model. And let's focus on something here, and not go too fast, but learn something that we can keep referring to in the future, right? Okay, so America, the United States, is a place where we have the most freedom to start a business. There are reasons for that. We have the varieties of business that we can start are the largest varieties. To say that it's the only place where you can start a business is false, but I do believe we have the most assistance, the most freedoms to do that, to start a business. So we have the most assistance here. Our government is friendly. They do want their share. They do want taxes, but they will help us start a business. And I think that may be the difference that we here in the United States enjoy over other countries is there are assistances to us creating our own business. Our government has gotten more friendly to small businesses because 90% of the jobs are created through small business in this country. We can create a business and hire employees. And that is what keeps us all in a job. So let's do the terms, okay? You know, you made a big decision. You want to be self-employed, which is starting a business. Self-employed is a term. So we want to pick a business, right? How do we do that, right? Well, let's do a couple terms here. Let's start with the term revenue and profit. So they are different, right? Revenue is the money that comes in, right? How much business are you doing? You can measure that by how many dollars are spent by people when you provide your service or product. How much have they spent given you? How much money have they given you? That's called revenue. Profit is different, right? Profit is our goal, right? So what happens if we have revenue, but we don't have profit, right? They give us money, but the money's gone. That's revenue. The revenue, all the money's gone. The business is expensive. It's expensive to operate. Well, you have to pay employees. Remember, the revenue is coming in. The business owner has to, pay for advertising, pay the government for taxes. Let's just say rent. If you have a brick and mortar, if you have a location, rent. Let's say you're on the internet and there's services for setting up your internet, your website. Those are costs. Employees. Let's say you have employees providing the service. You have to pay them. You have to pay Social Security taxes, perhaps. and workers' compensation insurance. So your goal is profit, but just because your money is coming in doesn't mean you're making a profit. And without a profit, it's going to be hard to justify keeping a business going for a long time. Now, yes, for a while, for a year, most businesses take time to create a profit. Some never do, and some close their doors. So we have our terms revenue, money's coming in, and then after you pay all your bills, as I suggested, those things that a business must spend money on. After that, what's remaining is a profit. And our goal is to keep our bills manageable, pay our bills, and then we'll have a profit at the end of paying our bills. So, so those are our terms thus far. Revenue in the chat, profit in the chat. Starting a business, the subject of this show, one of the sub subjects of the show, starting a business. Okay, which brings us to our third term, business model. And a lot of us, we're concerned. You know, we have a great business idea. Maybe we even have customers. Maybe we have business paying customers, right? So, so eventually we get to profit, right? So how do you know if a business is a profitable one? How do you know before you start the business if it's profitable? That doesn't make any sense, does it? You haven't started it. You haven't taken any money in. How do you know how do you know before you take a single cent in? How can you judge one business idea against another? How do you know one business opportunity, a franchise, another is going to do well after you pay your franchise fees? After you pay your rent and your business startup costs, how do you know that the rest of it's going to be about making money and earning a profit? So you might consult something. This is the term called business model. The business model asks you to look at the market. You provide something, is where you are, is how can you get to the market? Is what you have to provide in demand? If it's in demand, if people want this, it's called market. It's a market, called a market. And that market varies from business to business. How hot is the market? And that's a very important consideration with the business model. After all, why are you starting a business if nobody wants what you're providing? Or alternatively, why are you starting a business when what you are providing has very little demand? Alternatively, why aren't you starting a business where people are constantly looking for your product? Where there's recurring revenue, where they keep coming back to you if you do a good job? Why aren't you starting that business? Is there a market? And will your customers keep coming back to you loyalfully, right? Loyalfully. Let's make up a new word. Loyalfully. Will they come back to you? Okay. The business model addresses those concerns. The marketability of your idea, and ultimately the mortality of your business. Will it be dead, mortal, based on your observations of the opportunity? What are you observing about this opportunity? Is it accurate? You think people love what you do and what you provide, you'll know that when you get a customer. And provided you're making a good income, will your business survive? Will it thrive, survive, and thrive? What's the scalability of this business? Will you open up one location? Is it possible that you can open up more than one business location at a time, right? The business model will address this. What is your marketing plan? How do you go about getting customers? Is it a superior market plan? Or are you not devoting any money to marketing? Perhaps if you don't commit money to marketing, what are you saying? The customers will market themselves, will tell all their friends, and they'll come by your way. Perhaps it depends, right? It depends on the product and the demand for the product. But what if they don't? What if you open your doors and you don't have a marketing, let's say advertising? In terms of marketing, let's use the word advertising. So what we're going to try and do here is create some businesses, suggest some businesses with a high value, a high business model value, a high marketability, high demand out there. Focus on those businesses that when you create them, you'll have repeat business. And look at them in a reality and in a real time with examples. Let's use examples of people who are creating these businesses in the future, and we'll go from there. Along the way, this is called blue collar crypto. So we're going to keep looking at the crypto market, but along the way, and find opportunities in the crypto market where you in effect are your own crypto marketer, operator, investor, employee. So in the crypto space. So we're not excluding that from the title of the show, the blue collar crypto. We're just expanding it a little bit to here's another way to make money. And here's the business model. And check out this business model. You may be interested in this. So my suggestions to keep this show short, I'll just review revenue, profit, business model. And those are the 3 words of the day. I hope that I presented them in an understandable way, and look forward to talking to you next week from the Cheesehead State and the Great White North, the Upper Midwest, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. This is Tim, and I'm signing off. Thank you, and I'll send you to my host, Emily.
Thank you, Tim, for all the great tips, tricks, techniques regarding cryptocurrency, which is what the Blue Collar Crypto Show is all about. I'd like to encourage everybody again to check out all of our social media pages, and to subscribe, like, share, comment, and so on with that. There we go. And if anybody has any questions, comments, and so on, you can contact me at 715-303-9835. Or at podcastengineer54@gmail.com. Or you can get a hold of Kurt at 262-372-1754. Or at abilitymkenow.com. And but also like to add in here about that we do have our other shows. So if anybody's interested in finding out more about those or coming on, or maybe they want liking a little help with starting their own show or helping out with our current shows in any other capacity, to please let us know. Also, a couple events that are coming up that I wanted to quickly highlight here. February 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the Festivus celebration by the Ruskov family. For those of you who are fans of the Seinfeld show, this event is kind of based on the Seinfeld show and Festivus for the rest of us. And we'll have the airing of grievances, the feats of strength, the airing of grievances, feats of strength, and there'll be a scavenger hunt, as well as some karaoke on Friday evening. Scavenger hunt will be on Saturday. Kurt's here. Kurt, you want to quickly say anything about Festivus?
Didn't seem like you were at the end of what you were saying.
I was about done with Festivus, but do you want to add anything to what I was saying?
After you finish what you were doing, go ahead and
I was
finish.
going to go to IDH next, Kurt.
Well, then go to IDH.
So the other thing was I wanted to bring up is March 17th. Our St. Patrick's Day is the Happy Neighborhood Project's International Day of Happiness event, which is officially the official date of International Day of Happiness is March 20th. However, HCP is having their event the Friday before that, which lands us on St. Patrick's Day, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific, or noon to 6 p.m. Eastern, with speed networking, prizes, speakers, and so on. Tickets right now are $30, but will go up to $40 on February 1st. So I encourage everybody to get their tickets ASAP if you are planning on attending. One of the things that's special about this year is we are looking to break the Guinness Book of World Records of the most people speed networking at one time, which right now is set at 1,068 in 2014 by Belgium. So if you're interested in being a part of breaking a Guinness Book of World Record, to please join us for that as well. So there's my two business things at the moment. Kurt, you have anything you want to add? Kurt. anyway. Kurt, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, where are you? Are you at the end of everything or what?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Pretty much. What'd you miss?
I mean, I said about all the podcasts, or I said about contacting us that there are other shows for anybody who's interested in finding out more about the shows or being a part of it somehow to let us know. There's Festivus, there's IDH. There's something else.
Oh, is there something else? Patty, what else is there?
Well, I don't know, but I think that you should be talking about Festivus and how it got started.
Okay. Well, first of all, Emily, we're here with the infamous and illustrious Patty Ernest. So what did you miss?
Right here, folks.
So do you want me to go through every single
It's
show?
like,
Or
is that her?
do you want me to go through every single podcast or what, Kurt?
Well, we have one ambassador, one host, one entrepreneur, one service provider, the one and only Patty Ernest.
All right, which I wasn't planning on saying anything about. I was just looking to basically end.
Well, thank you for introducing me. So,
Well, I wasn't planning on you, bitch. I wasn't planning on you showing up, so that's why.
well, no, I'm thanking Kurt for introducing me. Thank you, Kurt. Where would you like me to start? Let's see, we have a World of
At the beginning.
podcast on Monday nights at 7 p.m. And I'm offering a $99 special for Phoenix residents who want to have their pets watched overnight. And pretty soon, hope to have some really good news for everybody. We'll see how that goes. Your turn, Kurt.
All right, my turn. Here, I'm gonna turn this way. That way. My turn. Here we go. There you go. So
Thank you for making us all dizzy, Kurt,
well, I think there's some
and making my
dizziness
headache
going on.
worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some dizziness going on without my assistance. So, but yes, I'm Kurt Roskoff. I'm out here in Milwaukee, and I am proud, pleased, and privileged to be a part of these productions. And I introduce to you Festivus Productions and Entertainment Enterprises. So what's the deal about Festivus? Festivus for the rest of us. Feats of strength, airing of grievances, the Festivus poll. Let's not forget our Festivus miracle. Our Festivus miracle.
I'll do the airing of grievances.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have to schedule in some extra time this year. Oh man, and then we got the bagel strike, because the Festivus episode on Seinfeld was during the strike episode, which has to do with Kramer and his whole shenanigans with the bagel shop. So we'll be exercising the bagel strike during our Festivus weekend. But the strike did end, so there will be an opportunity to have bagels. So
I think you should tell them the story about Festivus.
Well, Festivus began in ancient Rome And then it spread to, or caught on in California. And then as far as the Seinfeld sitcom, one of the writers for Jerry Seinfeld had a father who, with his anniversary, would do very unusual things to celebrate the anniversary. So the writer was inclined to be in this mind frame of an unusual celebration. And so that basically was the inspiration of an unusual holiday celebration. And then one way or another, this writer was aware of the Festivus pagan holiday. And so that's why it is internationally known to be December 23rd. But akin to Christmas in July, we are doing Festivus in February. And so for me, it began when I came back from University of Wisconsin, Madison, as I'm a Badger. If you want to come with me by the bright shining light of the moon, you know. So basically, I reached out to some high school contacts on my winter break. And what happened there is I got a few of my friends interested to get together at my house, and I would stay with my father. So I asked my father, hey, is it okay if I have a few of my friends over? He's like, well, how many are you talking about? I'm like, I'm getting feedback from a few of them. So that might end up being a half a dozen one way or another. Or, I don't know. Basically I got a few responses. It's like, sure, that's fine. So I'm like, come on over. And what I told them is, if you were going to spend any time with anyone else, feel free to bring them along. So what happened is this half a dozen turned into like a dozen and a half. So we had a nice little party here, and we had some of my friends helping my dad make pizza, and a couple of friends were bartenders, and a couple of friends were errand runners, because we didn't have enough for a dozen and a half people. We were ready for a half a dozen. And it was just a really good time. One of our friends, we even ended up carrying him out to his car. So it was quite the festive occasion. And so during that time in college, that's when Seinfeld was getting to be really popular. And friends at college would take study breaks watching Seinfeld together. So Seinfeld, the sitcom, was a study break television show. So that's, and then when I got married, it was that I had an inclination to break this cycle of friends saying, hey, we got to get together. We should see each other more, stay in touch. And then the whole thing that stuff never happens. So I said to my wife, Sue, I said, we need something that, with people saying that all the time and nobody organizes getting together, we need to have an annual event, which is our annual get together. And that's the deal where everybody knows when it is and they come. And they just know it's happening. If they don't come, it's more about them than it has to do with us. So we are 25 years into it for 26 Festivus. And so Festivus for the rest of us, Feats of Strength, Aaron agrees, Festivus Bowl, Festivus Miracle. No bagels, bagel strike ends. You get some bagels. We play board games. We're going to have karaoke. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Zoom ID. You switch to personal link name, you can enter the letters Ability Now. So use that join feature on Zoom and join us. Join Festivus with Festivus Productions and Entertainment Enterprises. Back to you, Emily, our chief entertainer.
Kurt, you've been doing that for 26 years?
Yes, ma'am. You caught me.
Wow.
Hey, us guys just sitting around, always in this lazy boy. Just quite a bit of time.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Kurt, for that.
For
Uh,
that, it sounds like it might have been
and-
painful. Sorry.
And
Is
as
that
far
our
as,
first reading?
I guess, Kurt, I guess with that, would like to wish everybody a safe and productive week and
Oh my
to
God.
stay